Taking a look at another classic video starring Matt Walsh as he receives the most unexpected question from a trans person attending a young Americans gathering. You'll be shocked to hear what he had to say if you haven't seen this clip already. Welcome back to Resist the Mainstream. I'm Steve Inman, reporting the news the mainstream won't. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Well, when it comes to Matt Walsh, it's obviously no surprise to expect virtue signaling insults or just plain yelling from audience members eager to one-up on him on topics relating to the trans community. We see timeless amounts of clips, but this clip proves you can't always judge a book by its cover, as I am guilty of, as the conversation takes an unexpected but welcomed route.
So I'd like to say that I'm actually a part of that organization that was going to come and try and derail you tonight. I didn't hear a single thing, though, that constituted an attack on queer or trans lives or an attack on me personally. So I don't know what they were on about there. Moreover, everything that you have said on gender identity, gender expression, John Money, pronoun usage, what else? The sex gender distinction, you are 100% correct.
Wow.
You are 100% correct. I don't know if you've ever heard that from a trans person before. I identify as a trans woman. You are 100% correct on that. And it is an absolute travesty that the trans community bases everything on such vacuous concepts.
Are you amazed? I'm amazed. I'm shocked. And shockingly, the trans person opens their question by agreeing with nearly every point Walsh has already made prior. It was an unorthodox debate method that, instead of leading to hysterical outbursts, led to a rather mature debate. The trans person had claimed that they originally came to the event with an opposing group to protest Walsh, but quickly came to a new perspective after hearing few falsehoods in Walsh's logic. Although they disagreed on a few specific topics, the two engaged in a calm debate in which Walsh eventually stumped the questioner.
My thing is, though, is I don't agree with your conclusion. I don't agree with it. But more so, the reason why I don't is less a matter of argumentation and more so a matter of method. You've stated time and time again that your approach to this is to try and keep things simple and uncomplicated, as in you don't try and engage with the nuance of the position of trans people. But that's exactly how my org treats you. They don't think that your arguments are worth looking at because they cast you as a transphobe. I did otherwise, and I looked, I'm like, yeah, no, this guy's absolutely correct on all these things.
So which conclusion are you? You said you disagree with my conclusions.
Well, it's the conclusion that of the model that you're postulating of gender. Of it's just this, you have man, woman, they're biologically contingent. My sort of question is, do you think that defaulting to simplicity, if this is the most dire issue of the age, which is something else that I agree with you on, do you really think that a method of simply recoursing to the most simplistic matter of approach is what we should be doing here?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because, I mean, I appreciate, I appreciate everything that you said, and I appreciate your attitude. I very rarely encounter your attitude from that side of the ideological aisle. So I appreciate that. Okay, so you definitely don't agree with my conclusion then at all.
No.
We actually are totally on opposite sides of this question, it turns out. Okay, so what are the other categories if not male and female?
We're going to be here all night if I have to doing that.
We're not, because there's none that you can list. So it's actually a very short conversation.
Right.
Obviously, some minor disagreements between the two, but Walsh seemed unmoved in his beliefs. He did successfully influence the trans person and chimed in on the more nuanced side of the argument. Walsh also mentioned that as a parent, if his child were to begin questioning their gender identity, he'd be eager to talk to them about it in a healthy manner and help guide his child in making the right decisions. It seems as though a lot of parents out there think they have a golden child as soon as their child identifies as something else. Walsh mentioned that as a parent, if his child were to begin questioning their gender identity, he would be eager to talk to them about it in a healthy manner, as most parents would, and help guide his child in making the right decisions. Unfortunately, we live in a time where many parents would not react the same way. While some would disregard or ignore their child, others would be more than eager to accept whatever they have to say and push their children towards irreversible consequences. Genital mutilation, we see it time and time again. These parents are virtue signalers. They think they have the golden child. The point of the matter is that communication is everything.
Sure, there's all kinds of personal, subjective nuances and things like that. If my child came to me and said that they were confused about their identity, I wouldn't just say, get out of my face. I would want to sit down and talk to them. And that's when you get into, that becomes sort of an interpersonal exchange. And so you get into some of those personal nuances and everything, and that's fine. But the underlying fact, the underlying reality is simple. that there are only males and females in the human race. There are no other categories. There is no third sex. It doesn't exist. Even though we hear about intersex people, an actual intersex person would be someone who has the reproductive capacities of both men and women, males and females. Such a person has never existed, ever. So what I see here is a binary system, and in that way, it's very simple, and I think that has to be our message.
Even two completely opposing ideologies can still find similarities with one another. Having rational conversations about typically controversial topics is a step in the right direction for humanity. The more we learn from each other, the more productively we can grow. Doesn't mean you have to compromise with them either. I think we can all agree that what's more important than the debate itself is the fact that these two individuals with opposing lifestyles, ideals, were able to conduct themselves respectfully and in a manner that showed the nonce of debate and how often people fall into the ideological gray area rather than being forced into Group A or Group B. More often than not, people with opposing beliefs can find more similarities than differences if they only look deeper than politics or social dynamics. It's all too common for people to stick with their beliefs or truth rather than being open to debate and growth. Doesn't mean you have to compromise with them, and it doesn't mean you have to believe what they believe. Even if someone hasn't convinced you of their side of things, it doesn't mean you have to treat them with malice. People can agree to disagree, and some may change their way of thought for the better. That is the beauty of living in America. We don't always have to agree, but we're always free to think as we please, and we're always free to disagree, which is most important. Until next time, this is Resist the Mainstream, reporting the news that the mainstream won't. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more content. Until next time, take care. We'll see you then.